everyone, Cynda Renae here, and today we are going to compare and contrast the Outlander book series, Dragonfly in Amber, Book 2, with the Outlander TV series on Starz. Now, if you haven't read the book or plan on watching the TV show, be advised, spoilers are coming, so you've been fair warned. To begin, our TV series is entitled Through a Glass Darkly, which is essentially the same as our book. Part 1, Through a Looking Glass Darkly. Pretty close. But our big difference, and it's our biggest difference for the entire first episode, is that, if you can see on the book, it says Inverness, 1968. In our TV series, we actually begin in 1948 with Claire and Frank's first reconnection and experiences together. In our book, we are in a very different time. Frank has passed away, and Claire is back in Scotland with her daughter, Brianna, Jamie and Claire's daughter. Now, in our TV series, when Frank and Claire first see each other, Frank comes in to the hospital, and Claire is just kind of can't believe that he's there. But it's not until he touches her that she kind of shrinks away because she's feeling Black Jack's touch echo through the time. But when Claire sits Frank down and starts telling him what has happened to her, where she's been, he's oddly accepting of her story, even though to a rational scholar like himself, it should seem completely deranged and illogical. He is in the TV series very, I just want you back, I love you, I want to be with you, I don't care where you've been, it doesn't matter. Now, in our book, we don't really get to see much of Frank's reaction, but we do get a couple tastes of it here and there. On page 62, Claire's speaking, and she says, "Well, the fact is that I walked through a bloody cleft stone in that circle in 1945, and I ended up on the hillside below in 1743. I said exactly that to Frank. He glared at me for a moment, picked up a vase of flowers from my bedside table, and smashed it on the floor." We're seeing a much angrier Frank, which you do see a bit of in our TV show. He's very accepting of Claire until she says one key phrase, "I'm pregnant." Then you see that ghost of Black Jack come across his face. He balls up his fist and is about to punch her, and he's shaking with rage and he's crying, and then he leaves the room. But what does he go do? He smashes a bunch of stuff. So that is our hint of Frank's anger that is cohesive in our book and our TV series. In our TV series, we see a young Roger Wakefield, who is revealed by the Reverend himself to not be his son, but he's adopted. Now, the Reverend and Frank are kind of having a conversation as he realizes, wow, Claire is pregnant. And the Reverend's trying to get Frank to realize that, yes, this might not be your child, but this child needs a father, and you can still love it. Now, in our book, we see a much older Roger Wakefield. He's all grown up, and on Claire's request, he does some digging into history to find out some things. The interesting thing about Roger is he actually believes Claire's story. Claire finally feels like she has an ally in Roger, which is very similar to how she feels about having an ally in our TV series when she tells Mrs. Graham her story. She believes Claire, and Roger believes Claire. They kind of made Mrs. Graham fill that Roger void of someone believing Claire. Our transition into the past is very different from book to TV series. In our TV series, we see Frank and Claire landing off a plane and getting out, and Frank says, "Just one more step," and he's about to take Claire's hand, and then it transitions into Jamie grasping for Claire's hand as she's getting off a ship in France. In our book, what's very interesting is our transition in the past is because of Claire regaling her story to Brianna and Roger. Roger is a historian, and as a historian, he's pretty curious. So as she's telling him the story, Roger's like, wait a minute. Did you know Bonnie Prince Charlie? And Claire goes, yep. That's why Jamie and I went to France to try to stop this revolution from happening. Now, once we get to the past, our book and TV series are very similar. We see Claire interacting with a ship that has smallpox, and as a healer, she recognizes it immediately. We see Count Saint Germain getting pretty mad and giving Claire a evil warning, stink eyes, that she's going down, which is very congruent both our book and our TV series. The only major difference is Murtaugh. In our TV series, Murtaugh is just kind of like, hold on, you want me to do all this stuff and go along with all these plans, but I'm not quite sure why. Why do you want me to do all this stuff? And Jamie kind of tells him, I can't tell you right now, but I'll tell you sometime. When's that? When the time is right. Who knows when that is? In our book, Murtaugh actually already knows who Claire is, because we go back to when Claire is trying to save Jamie's soul at the Abbey. Jamie at one point tells Murtaugh, hey, Claire's from the future, and when I die, you gotta take her back to these standing stones and send her back to her own time. And Murtaugh believes Jamie because, well, he trusts Jamie more than anyone. So that's our only real difference once we get to the past between our TV series and our book. I really enjoyed both our book version and our TV version. I appreciated in our TV version seeing some more depth of Frank and seeing what it must have been like for him and Claire right when she returned, as opposed to just getting small hints of it. But I hope that they decide to bring back some of our part one from the book in 1968. I want to get to see Brianna's reaction to Claire telling her that Jamie's her real dad, and just that interaction of her meeting Roger for the first time, so I really hope to get to see that on film. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's comparison between the novel Dragonfly in Amber and Outlander Season 2 on Starz. If you like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe, and until then, see you next week. Over the sea to sky.